Hello, and welcome back to another chapter of The Written Life with me, your host, Shea McGee. And today we're going to talk about, me. We're going to talk about me. I'm going to introduce myself because I feel like it is very important that my listeners know who I am, why I'm doing this, and we're going to take it from there. So yes, in case you haven't noticed, I am fairly new to podcasting, but I'm very excited to get this underway. And this podcast is going to be about my journey as a writer, as well as having other writers come on and talk about their journey in relation to writing and creating, story building, and things of that nature. So let's get right into it. I am Shea. I'm 33. Yes, I am 33 years old. I am an author. I'm a writer. However you want to say it, that's what I am. It's what I do. Genres that I usually gravitate towards are horror, thrillers, anything that has to do with, I guess you could say, vampires or creatures of that nature. I do love fantasy as well. I am a very big fan of those works. My published works that I have readily available are Voices on the Air, Whispers of the Flesh. Those are both urban fantasy. There is a little romance in there, even though I'm not a very big romance person. They do have some elements of that, as well as some, fairy tale-ish type stuff. So that is what those two entail. And then for the other work that I have published, it is The House That Stood. It's going to be in an anthology that's coming out later this year. I shouldn't say later this year because it's already later this year. We're almost in September. So it's going to be coming out in October. That would be the ideal launch for that. And it is a short story that I specifically created to submit to that anthology, which I was very worried about because I never purposely wrote horror ever. I was very intimidated, but I did it, and they liked what they read, so it will be in the anthology coming out in October. There is a Kickstarter for that. I will share that later on. And also, I have an article on Harness Magazine, which is very, very new. I submitted to them, I want to say earlier this month or late last month. Either way, I submitted an article to them and they accepted that, and it is up and published in Harness Magazine. You can find that harnessmagazine.com, and it is mostly about my father and his death and how death affects us all and how it affected me mainly and how I got through it. And I also have a lot of short stories on Vocal. You can find them on vocal.media, and you can look me up, Shea McGee or s.l.mcgee. That's my author name. And you can see all of the stories that I created there. I even attempted to make a poem. I'm not a poet, but I did it. So it's on Vocal. And then I have a third book that I'm working on in the Voices and Whispers series. Well, it's not, those aren't the series. It's the Michaela Williams series. And the two books that I already have published are a part of that series. And it's an urban fantasy series about a young woman, a wonderful young Black woman, making her way through the world in her career. Everything is going great, but it's not as great as she had hoped. It's not what she expected. And her world just gets turned upside down in a matter of days because the new and younger CEO that took over the Whispers company that she works for, which is it's a sex company. It's a how do you say that? Like, those companies where I don't know. But anyway, so it's those sex talk, those phone lines you call in the middle of the night, those types of things. That is where she works, but she is an operation manager. She doesn't do the other stuff. She worked her way up, honey. So that's what she does. In Voices, that's where she's at. She gets turned into a succubus. He's an incubus. Very attractive. Yeah, all that good stuff. She gets turned into a succubus, and she doesn't understand what the heck's going on. She didn't ask for it. And then the second book, Whispers of the Flesh, she deals with that and comes to terms with, okay, now this is what I am. What's next? But then a whole other set of problems arises because the woman that basically is out to destroy Andre, the CEO, who turned her into a succubus, trying to destroy him and the rest of their kind, is now trying to take Michaela as well. So we deal with that in the second book. And then the third book, The Sorceress, that I have coming out later this year. For sure, that we're going to get into that. I can't tell you too much, but just know that The Sorceress is going to give us a little backstory about the antagonist and why she is the way she is, and then we'll go from there. I don't want to give too much away right now. Eventually we'll do a chapter read on the next chapter of this podcast, but for right now, just wanted to give you a rundown on what I've done, the work I have out now, and what's coming up. What made me want to write was me always writing. I've always been very good with words. I used to win spelling bees all the time. I guess you could say I was a bit of an overachiever. Okay? I didn't like to admit that before, but I'm a little older now, so these things you kind of have to just accept and let it go. But yeah, I've always been a bit of a writer. But I used to do it for fun. One second. Little water break. But I used to do it for fun. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that you could write as a profession. I didn't think it was real at all until I got older. And that's the funny thing. Like, you read so much. And for me, I didn't think twice about writing as something you do or you get paid to do. I didn't think about that at all. Then again, I didn't know no better. So that's why I didn't really give it any thought. But I've always written, but I would do it for fun. I would write stories and let my sisters read it. And as I got older and noticed the things that I was writing kind of just took a life of their own, and it honestly didn't sound too bad. I decided, you know what, I will definitely, what do I have to lose? Let me try my hand at actually writing on purpose, writing with a purpose. Let me do that. And that's what I did. And when I decided to publish Voices on the air, that's exactly what I did. I just decided, let me finish something for once. And I finished it. I edited it myself, which is a lot of work. And I know it's probably seen as bad from other people who have editors and someone else to handle all of that. For me, I just decided I'm going to take it on myself, which that wasn't the hard part, but marketing is the hard part. We'll talk about that later. That's much later. But I definitely decided to do that. I published my first book, Voices on the Air, I want to say at the end of 2016 or 2017. Oh God, it's been so long. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been a while. It's been 2 years. It's been about 2 years for sure that I published Voices on the Air. It's going on 3 years. So I would say it's been 2016 is when I published it. And then Whispers came a year after that. So yeah, it's been an amazing ride doing all of that and writing for myself and for others. That's mainly why I chose to do it, and when I started doing it, and when I started when I decided to publish my first book. Will I continue self-publishing in the future? Maybe. It depends what I'm trying to get out of it. But for right now, I do self-publish. I like self-publishing my work. It's just how I am. I don't know if that makes me a control freak, but that's what I do. Plus, I'm broke. I can't be paying somebody else to edit my stuff for me. If I know how to edit it myself, it's not like I don't have practice for it. But it's not the same thing as having another pair of eyes. I'm getting away from what this is all about. So the challenges that I've faced when it comes to writing is editing and marketing. Marketing is really big for me. It's a hurdle that I really need to learn to get over if I'm going to be self-publishing. That's something that I need to definitely understand a lot more. I will have to read a lot more on that. Maybe even take a course or two. It's something that I really have to look forward to and that I really need to get underway, especially as a self-publishing author or independent author, however you want to say it. That's what it is for me, and I need to learn how to deal with that. Any other challenges that I face just has to deal with making sure I stay on top of creating the story and, making sure that everything runs smoothly, that there's continuity there's no mix-ups or confusion for the reader. Confusion is terrible. I know I've probably made that mistake before, but it's definitely something that I am working on. So those are the challenges that I've faced so far with writing for myself. All right, so my fave authors who inspire me or have inspired me would be Stephen King. I know it's probably cliche, but I really admire the work that he's done and everything that he's put out. I love his writing style, especially with Laurel Kate Hamilton. She is my absolute favorite when it comes to her writing style. I love how she does the way that she puts together everything in her Anita Blake series. I have a couple other books that are outside of the Anita Blake series. I have the Meredith series, The Fairies, amazing. If you have not read any Laurel K. Hamilton, definitely do so. Very fun, very action-packed, especially Anita Blake. It's amazing. Excuse me. So another author that I enjoy is, there's so many. I used to read a lot of V.C. Andrews until I realized what I was reading, and I stopped reading it. It's a lot of incest in her books, and I was just like, it's a rape. It's a lot of rape in there. It was a little much. Don't know why I was reading that as a teenager. Yeah. I think I didn't understand fully what I was getting into with V.C. Andrews. I also enjoy Edgar Allan Poe. If you don't know who that is, you are living under a rock. He's one of my most favorite when it comes to creating such tense moments. Edgar Allan Poe, amazing. any other authors that I could think of at the top of my head. I'm losing my mind today. I should have wrote that down. But those are the three main ones, aside from Anne Rice as well. I love her vampire books. I love them so much. So much. They really set the tone for the type of vampire that I enjoy very much. No, I don't like Twilight vampires at all. I am sure others agree, but I'm just saying from my side of things, I didn't enjoy those, but I'm not going to get into it that much because I don't have time for that. Who else? Like, I love authors that are just, like, I like to read a lot of anthologies, a lot of just authors I don't normally read or even know. But those are my top authors. Everyone else, I think I'm just inspired by writers, period, across the board. Anyone that writes, I admire them. I respect them highly. It is not a joke. Writing takes a lot of time, a lot of brain energy. It takes a lot. So I don't even know why I thought writing was going to be like easy peasy. It's not. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, sometimes stories do come about on their own, and those for me are the best that happens for me. And then when it takes a life of its own, it just makes everything seem surreal and just so much better. I can't even describe it entirely because there's no words. I really love when I'm writing and then it all just flows together. That's my most favorite. But I'm getting off track here. My goal with writing is to entertain. I really enjoy making people happy and making people laugh, making people smile. It's what I really like to do. Even though I am a bit of an introvert, I like to call myself an introvert with extrovert tendencies. That's who I am. But my goal with writing is to do that. And that's how I communicate with people best, writing. Talking is a little difficult for me because I always forget things that I want to say. It's almost as if my brain works faster than my mouth, and my mouth filters out whatever it wants and it only says whatever it feels like saying, because I guess I can't control it. I can't control myself. That's not true. That sounded bad, but you know what I meant. So for me, that is my goal. And for me as a woman, a Black woman writing, a Black woman that wants to write fantasy, it means a lot to me because I believe we should have more of that in the fantasy genre. I know there are plenty of Black women that write in that genre, so I can't say that it's non-existent. I know for a fact there is. It's so many great women of color, Black women, writers who just set the tone for me and many other women of color and Black women that do writing across the board, no matter the genre. It means the world to me to be a woman that is representing being Black and writing in a genre that's not normally accepted, quote unquote, in our I wouldn't say in our culture, but you know, in the hood or whatever. So it means a great deal to me to be able to do that. I have a great community of writers that I am in touch with quite a bit. They help me so much with being a writer and giving me feedback and critiquing my work. I can't stress it enough. With anything that you do, having a community around you that rallies for you, that is honest with you, it makes a world of difference. It does help a lot. So I definitely suggest that if you're a writer, please get with a community that is going to be helpful and that you're going to be helpful towards as well. So I definitely have a few groups that I'm in as part of writing, and I also have a group that I'm in on Twitter. Shout out to my Twitter family. The writers community there, they are amazing. It's tremendous. It's so many of us. So it really is important to me. Very important. And with that, we'll take a short break and be right back. All right, so I am back, and I wanted to get into the next topic really quickly. I'm still talking about me, so never mind, the topic's still me. Who the hell are you, lady? So that is me in a nutshell from the top on down, but then we're going to get into something a little more personal, and that's motherhood and how it affects my writing. Motherhood affects my writing because my son will not let me write. He always wants to do something. He always has something to tell me, show me. He wants me to help him with something. He is my darling. But and another side of that, motherhood definitely made me want to step up and take writing more seriously, because I know it's something that I really want to do as a profession. I like to say that I am a writer with a full-time job. So that is how I describe that. But being a mother, it puts everything into perspective. It helps me understand what my focus is and what my goals are. And it affects my writing in that way that I hold myself accountable more than ever now, because it's so important to make sure that I do that. And the big takeaway from this episode is I love to write. I love creating worlds and characters that people can relate to in some way, whether it's on a really profound level or even if it's on a most shallow level. That's totally fine with me. But what my main aim is to entertain and to transport people into a whole nother world and give them something else to think about, because we all think about serious things in our day-to-day, things that really just stress us out, just bum us out. That's not exciting at all, especially with everything that's going on in the media, the large mainstream media. It's just so many tragedies, one after another. It means the world to me that I'm able to give people some sort of reprieve, even if it's for a little bit. That's what really matters to me as a writer and as an author. It's incredible the influence that you can have over people. I know I've been heavily influenced by writers and authors that are just amazing at what they do, and they really just helped me as a reader. And that's what I want to do as a writer for my readers. And that's really just me. Like I've grown up doing this. I've had a tough life growing up, but that never stopped me from dreaming and from believing in myself. And also from just not wanting to be who I really am. At the end of the day, that's all you can really do, is be who you are. And that's who the hell I am. Okay? So I just want to end this by saying thank you. And I really enjoy doing this podcast so far. It's not my first foray in podcasting. This is a brand new platform for me. So, if you really enjoy what you're hearing, please Share. Please give this 5 stars or however many stars you feel it deserves. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And just really get the word out about this podcast. And I thank you. I just really thank you for, sticking around and listening to me. I just wanted to give you my socials where you can find me. On Facebook, it's SL McGee. That's SLMCGEE author on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at SL_McGee_author. Twitter at LaSmalls86. You can find me on there. If you want to check out my blog is slmcgeeauthor.wordpress.com. You can find all of my works there. You can find my books there. You can find chapter shares there as well. You can also find my books on Amazon, Voices on the Air and Whispers of the Flesh. They are both readily available on Amazon. Voices on the Air is also available on Google Play Books. Whispers is not available there yet, but I will be placing that there as soon as The Sorceress comes out, and I'll make them all available on every single platform that anyone can find it on. And we have a Kickstarter going on for the Hell Hour anthology through Abomination Media. They are having a Kickstarter so that we can get the anthology moving onward and upwards, so it's available to readers. It is a horror anthology. I'm in it. My story, The House That Stood, is going to be published in that book. So it would mean the world to me if you check out my Instagram and all of my other socials to be involved in the Kickstarter so we can get that out there for everyone that loves horror. You are going to love it. There are so many contributors to that anthology that I think are kick-ass. So please just follow me on any of those. And I thank you for listening to The Written Life. And I'll see you all in the next chapter. Have a great day.